Where the second concert season for the outdoor venue is set to kick off tonight with Bruno Mars hitting the stage. We have reaction from fans and concerns from nearby residents. Good evening. Well, after a heavy downpour washed out yesterday's concert, Bruno Mars will be taking the stage tonight for the first of 5 shows in our city.
It is the first show of the season at Rogers Stadium, the outdoor concert venue at Downsview Park, pledging improvements after mounting community concerns and over noise and congestion last year. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live now from outside Rogers Stadium, where the concert is about to get underway within the next hour. Janice, what's the weather like right now there, Janice?
Well, it's just sprinkling a very little bit, Andrea, and I can tell you it's not anywhere near as bad as last night, which was an absolute washout. And fans started arriving about an hour ago. Joining us live right now are a couple girls who are very excited about tonight's performance. Tell me, how are you feeling right now? You're going to be walking into Rogers Stadium very soon.
We're excited.
I'm super excited.
When did you buy your tickets for this?
January.
So you've been waiting for this for a long time.
Long time.
What are you most excited about? I mean, Bruno Mars isn't supposed to take the stage himself until about 8:45. Why are you here so early?
We're waiting in line for merch and to see the opener.
Okay. Well, enjoy the concert tonight. We're going to throw to our package now. And rain it did. Heavy downpours and wind forcing organizers to cancel Bruno Mars' sold-out concert at North York's Rogers Stadium last night.
It's bittersweet. I mean, I think we'll have a better time next weekend. The weather's supposed to be better. But yeah, I mean, rain or shine, I would have gone out to see him if it wasn't.
It would have been worth it. We would have grinded it out, but I think it's good that we didn't have to go through it.
Saturday night show postponed to May 31st. But sound checks were going on this afternoon for tonight's concert, the first in Rogers' summer concert series, which is heading into its second year.
I think it's going to be really, really great. I think he's a great performer. A lot of the set list is amazing, so we're really excited.
While fans are excited about tonight's performance, those who live near Downsview Park, which houses the new stadium, not so enthused.
It's hard to get in the neighborhood with them, with the police and everybody not wanting everyone to try and park on these streets, which is a hassle for residents.
In response to traffic and noise complaints, the primary operator of the stadium issued a statement reading, "In keeping with being good neighbors, we've made technical, transportation and logistical improvements at Rogers Stadium leading up to this year's concert season." As relates to transportation, Live Nation says it has established dedicated rideshare pickup drop-off locations while encouraging people to take transit. And to reduce noise levels, it says, municipal licensing officers will monitor sound levels on site and in the community. All shows will end by 11 p.m. and improvements have been made to vinyl cladding on the grandstands to decrease sound travel.
It's vibration that was the #1 concern from people. And you can put earplugs in for decibels. You can do nothing for vibration. So when their windows are rattling and people can't get to sleep because of this, it's a real problem.
Ingrid Bidet from No More Noise says that's not good enough, adding the stadium was developed with little to no public consultation. Local councillor James Pasternak admits
last year was a real wake-up call. I found out about the stadium about 3 weeks before it was announced.
But says he's hopeful Live Nation's traffic management and noise mitigation efforts will help.
I empathize with the local community. They were there long before the stadium. This isn't like moving out to the airport and then complaining about jets. These people were there decades before this stadium was there, and they have a valid point.
And while there are complaints, there are also those in the area who are happy to have a new concert venue in their midst.
My family really enjoys the concerts. We sometimes go on our roof patio and listen to them, and honestly, it's been a good addition to the community.
Now, last year, there were 14 concerts here at Rogers Stadium in total. This year, there are even more. There will be 20. And, of course, last night's Bruno Mars concert has been rescheduled to May 31st. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Andrea.
Thanks, Janice. Cleanup continues across the city today after yesterday's storm with heavy rains and damaging winds brought down several trees and power lines. This was a scene on Lothian Avenue near Bloor and Islington in Etobicoke. Several trees came down, narrowly missing homes, but did damage a parked car in the driveway.
Well, it hit our car. We have the Tesla in the driveway and hit the front of the car, and then the tree limb took out all the power lines and reached across the entire street. But it missed the house, thankfully.
And Toronto Hydro says it is continuing to respond to scattered outages due to yesterday's high winds. Crews have responded to 145 power events, largely due to downed power lines and tree contact with wires. The utility says the majority of the outages have been assessed and restored. If you see a downed power line, you're being warned to stay at least 10 meters back and report it. Meanwhile, Toronto Fire says yesterday's stormy weather has led to a major increase in call volumes, responding to 672 emergency incidents, 672 emergency incidents in the past 24 hours, with call volumes 36% higher than typical across all categories.
And you're looking at a live shot of downtown. Still a very gray day today, but we can say it's much better than it was yesterday. Let's take a look at the current conditions. You can see what we're dealing with. It's all around us right now, but it doesn't seem to be falling anywhere near at this point. And we want to look forward to the rest of the week. But right now, conditions have bumped up a lot since yesterday. We remember it was just single digits at this time yesterday, 7 degrees. Now it's gone up to 15 in and around the area, 17 London, 16 Niagara Falls, and what we're going to see in the city right now is it's 14 at Pearson Airport, 11 degrees on the Toronto Island, and tonight it could be a little bit more rainy, but we see these conditions in the city being 14 degrees. It's going to warm up later on, but for now, we'll just have to endure the rest of Sunday night and look forward to a much better week. We'll have more weather coming up in a little bit. Andrea.
Thanks, Sean. A man is fighting for his life, and police are searching for a suspect after an assault inside a Scarborough apartment building last night. Police say they were called to an apartment near Lawrence and Kingston Roads around 11 last night. They found the victim lying on the floor in a hallway. He was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. A woman was arrested on scene. She is facing charges of aggravated assault and robbery. One other suspect is still on the loose, and there is no description of that person yet. Anyone with information is asked to get in touch with police.
And also in Scarborough, one person has been charged with careless driving following a two-vehicle crash late last night. This was the scene just after 11 p.m. on Brimley, close to the 401. 3 adults were taken to hospital, 2 men and a woman, all with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation, And 2 people were hospitalized after an electrical fire broke out at a business this afternoon. It happened at a business near Eglinton and Dufferin at 4 p.m. Police say everyone in the building was evacuated and 2 people were taken to hospital as a result of smoke inhalation. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
The search for a missing 14-year-old girl in North York has now entered its 2nd week. Police have released this new photo of Esther. She was last seen shortly after midnight on May 16th in the area of Bathurst and Hotspur Road area, just south of the 401. That was about a half hour after she was seen in Earl Bales Park. She was last seen wearing a turquoise sweater with words on the front, gray sweatpants, and no shoes. We've since learned Esther is on the autism spectrum. Police have also created a new website, tps.to/find Esther, to help keep the public updated on the latest information.
Turning now to a troubling story in Halifax, where after an agonizing 2-day search, the remains of a missing newborn baby have been found. The infant's remains were found around 3 o'clock this afternoon in a wooded area. The search began Friday night after a woman who appeared to have recently given birth was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. The 23-year-old remains in critical condition. Police believe she suffered a medical emergency and do not think her condition is a result of violence. The investigation is ongoing. 2 people are now facing charges of concealing the body of a child, obstruction, and indignity to a dead body. They'll appear in court on Monday.
A Newfoundland man has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of his estranged wife 10 years after she disappeared.
For nearly a decade, experienced investigators, led by our Major Crimes Unit, with the support of highly specialized policing units, including covert operations, underwater recovery teams, forensic analysts, and countless other dedicated members and employees of the RCMP, they've worked tirelessly to build the most thorough, evidence-driven investigation possible.
It was an emotional moment as the verdict was read in court, with Jennifer Hillier-Penny's family breaking down in tears. Dean Penny was charged with murder in 2023 after a 4-year sting in which RCMP officers posed as crime bosses designed to win Penny's trust and extract a confession. Prosecutors argued Penny killed his wife in a planned and deliberate act of murder. The decision brings to an end a grueling trial that began on April 1st. In Washington, a Secret Service investigation continues after a man opened fire near a White House security checkpoint yesterday.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
An ABC News journalist was reporting from the White House grounds when the shots began, forcing her and her crew to duck for cover. Officials say the man pulled a weapon from his bag shortly after 6 p.m., a block from the executive mansion, and opened fire. Secret Service officers returned fire and hit the suspect, who died at a hospital. A bystander was also struck by gunfire. It is unclear how badly that person was hurt.
A crucial fall referendum in Alberta will determine if the province moves ahead with an official vote on whether to separate from Canada.
The move has drawn criticism from both sides of the debate. CTV's Jeremy Sharon has more on that and what could come next.
It's a fall referendum vote Alberta's premier hopes could put an end to a decades-long debate.
We do need to get this issue resolved so that we can come to a conclusion and we can move on from it.
But that isn't exactly how everyone sees it.
Seems like Daniel Smith's trying to make this happen one way or another.
Daniel Smith will not stand up and say, just stop it, because he's all part of this whole cabal.
The Premier insists she's simply respecting democracy, allowing Albertans to decide what happens next.
I respect the grievances that there are in Alberta, but I certainly hope that Canada can overcome them and show that we are the place they want to be.
It's upsetting because I would like Canada to stay together.
Smith says that's what she wants too, for Canada to stay together. And speaking with CTV's Question Period host Vashi Kapelos, the Premier made this commitment.
If the Remain side does win, do you promise, as long as you're Premier, you will not hold a separation referendum?
Yes, I do. I will listen to the will of the people, and that's why I'm going to be advocating on that side. But it goes the other way as well. That if Albertans vote the other way, then we'll have to begin the legal process to get to a binding referendum.
The question being asked this fall is whether Albertans want a separate official referendum on separation. That could trigger another binding vote to leave the country.
It has to be a very simple, clear question.
But even if a majority vote to leave, the path to do so is unclear and would start by triggering something called the Clarity Act.
There's no question of separating under the Canadian Constitution. You have to have the majority of provinces and the Parliament agreeing to your separation. So how would that ever happen?
It would require the Supreme Court's involvement and a negotiated agreement between all provinces and the federal government.
And piling on to the complexity, legal experts also suggest a court decision earlier this month to throw out a pro-separation petition for its lack of consultation with First Nations indicates that would play a crucial role in any secession. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Russia launched a mass drone and missile attack on the Ukrainian capital today. 4 people were killed in Kyiv and the surrounding area. At least 83 others were injured in the intense aerial assault that damaged buildings across the city. Ukraine's Air Force says the attack included 600 drones and 90 missiles, but most were destroyed, jammed, or failed to reach their targets. The strikes included the use of a powerful hypersonic ballistic missile, the 3rd time it had been launched during the war. Moscow says the strikes were in retaliation for Ukrainian attacks on civilian facilities on Russian territory without giving detail. The Kremlin had vowed to strike back following what it said was a deadly attack last week on a college dormitory in Russian-occupied eastern Ukraine. Prime Minister Carney posted this on X late last night, saying Canada strongly condemns Russia's launch of large-scale missile and drone attacks on civilian targets in Kyiv tonight. For more than 4 years since Russia's illegal invasion, it has greatly underestimated the courage, determination, and strength of the Ukrainian people, even as Putin's regime has relentlessly bombed Ukrainian energy infrastructure, schools, hospitals, and homes. We call on Russia to immediately cease these strikes and end this illegal war of aggression. They prolong human suffering and do nothing to change the fact that Russia will lose this war.
The U.S. president has told his representatives not to rush into any peace deal with Iran, saying both sides must take their time and get it right. There was no immediate response from Tehran, but Donald Trump's top diplomat made it clear again today what is not on the table.
They will never possess a nuclear weapon, certainly not as long as Donald Trump is president of the United States. They are threatening to destroy commercial vessels using an international waterway. That is illegal under any concept of international law that governs us, but it's also if we allowed that to become normal, We would be normalizing an unacceptable status quo and setting a dangerous precedent.
The Americans also say their blockade on Iranian ships in the Strait of Hormuz will remain in full force until an agreement is signed. The waterway's reopening would begin to ease a worldwide energy crisis sparked by the surprise U.S. and Israeli bombardment of Iran at the end of February. It led to Tehran effectively closing the strait. A tenuous ceasefire has been in place since early April.
Several of the Canadians detained when Israel intercepted a Gaza-bound flotilla last week are returning home. Two of the Canadians were greeted by family and friends at Montreal's Trudeau Airport late yesterday afternoon. They were in the 41-boat flotilla that was intercepted by the Israelis in international waters. Israel denies any mistreatment of the detainees, but there are accusations of some of the activists being beaten, tasered, and dragged by their hair. McGill University's Ehab Latoyev says he was slashed in the hand.
He came with the knife and he stabbed me between the two fingers. You can see some of the stitches here. It's much better now. After 2 days ago, they stitched it in Turkey and they said there's no nerve damage, so it should heal. Many people have rubber bullet wounds, tasers. The stressful condition of kneeling on your knees, head down on the ground, is extremely painful.
There was global outrage following the release of this video by Israel's security minister. He's accused of taunting some of the detainees whose hands were tied behind their backs with their faces to the floor. Global Samud Flotilla says there were 12 Canadians among the 420 people detained. One of the Canadians arrived in Toronto yesterday. 3 more are scheduled to land at Pearson Airport tonight.
The Democratic Republic of Congo says that suspected Ebola cases in the country's east have now climbed to over 900. Now more help is on the way. A team from the Canadian Red Cross will be traveling there this week.
We have a lot of expertise that we can provide, and this is exactly what we're doing. And I think Canadians in general are concerned with emergencies that are happening around the world, and we want to do our part to support them.
The death toll in the DRC stands at more than 200. That is up from 27 from the day before. Health officials warn at least 10 other countries are at risk from the highly contagious virus. They include Kenya, Ethiopia, South Sudan. Canadian officials say the risk here remains low.
A union representing correctional officers is raising the alarm about the amount of violence in Canadian prisons.
The union claiming the number of incidents are on the rise and little is being done about it. CTV's Laura Brown reports.
It was a Sunday evening in April when 5 correctional officers were allegedly assaulted by an inmate at Spring Hill Institution in Nova Scotia. Their union rep says they're still recovering.
2 of them were stabbed. One had his ear half bitten off.
But Howe claims these incidents are not uncommon. Since January of this year, within Atlantic Canada's 5 federal prisons, 31 officers have been assaulted by inmates, according to the union. 337 weapons seized and 20 drone sightings.
Our staff are seeing more violence than we ever have before. It's escalating, and it's really time that the government, I don't think that this is a regional issue anymore. I don't think it's a local issue. I think this is a national issue.
We're asking people to work with them and to protect society, but clearly we're not protecting them.
The provincial MLA who represents the area of Spring Hill made a social media post outlining her concerns after the assault. She's received an outpouring of calls and emails to her office since, from current and former officers or family members of corrections staff sharing their experiences.
You literally have the inmates having access to better technology than the people that are put there to protect the public from these criminals. So we need to do better.
For its part, Correctional Service Canada said in a statement it's facing many challenges. The increase in inmate population places pressure on institutions. Incarcerated individuals have increasingly complex profiles that include substance use issues and challenges related to behavior management. The federal agency points to a promise of more money outlined in the spring economic update to combat drone activity and strengthen security.
I'm pretty upset knowing that officers that I represent are having to go through this on a daily basis. This is unacceptable. They deserve much better than this.
Howe promises he's more than willing to work with Ottawa on solutions. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo prayed today that humanity might be saved from what he called the evil of war. pontiff presided over the Pentecost Mass, which marks the 50th day after Easter. He said to pray that humanity may be free from misery, which is redeemed not by vast wealth, but by an inexhaustible gift. The Mass was celebrated in St. Peter's Basilica with 5,000 people in attendance.
Here at home, just under 3 weeks now until Team Canada kicks off its World Cup at Toronto Stadium. But the focus today was on the nation's capital, where the Prime Minister welcomed FIFA's president and a very famous trophy.
1, 2, 3. Canada, go! Go! Go, Canada! Fantastic, you're ready to become world champion.
Fingers crossed. Gianni Infantino helped lead the charge for Canada as we get set to co-host one of the biggest sporting events in the world. He called for Canadian flags to be flown from every window during the tournament. Mark Carney also got a chance to hoist the World Cup, an honor usually reserved for the winning team. The PM says soccer has flourished in Canada since our first World Cup appearance in 1986.
In 2012, Canada was 112th in the world. Now we're one of the top 30. That's a 75% increase. I'm an economist. It's a 75% increase. We belong on the pitch with the best teams in the world, and we're going to see that.
The federal government is providing $755 million over the next 5 years to help develop soccer at all levels in Canada. Toronto will host 6 World Cup games starting June 12th versus Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Representatives of the Republic of Korea have arrived along Canada's Pacific coast. They're here as Ottawa prepares to invest upwards of $25 billion to purchase 12 new submarines. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has the details.
Titled the patriotic song, the Republic of Korea's national anthem is played in harmony with O Canada. The nation's 2 navies coming together in Victoria, BC to remember the 516 Canadians killed in the Korean War and honor those who survived the historic battle that began 76 years ago.
Our first casualty was the 1st of January.
A recognition of the past as the 2 middle powers work to ignite tighter military bonds into the future.
Every time you have the opportunity to work at sea, we should.
The Korean Navy arrived at CFB Esquimalt this weekend, bringing its KSS-3 submarine. A bid is in place for Canada to purchase 12 of these South Korean subs. The only other finalist vying to deliver Canada's next-generation submarine is a joint German-Norwegian submission. Ottawa will announce the winning multi-billion-dollar contract this summer. While putting their best marketing pitch forward, the Korean Navy is also here working with Canada to conduct the 2 countries' first ever exclusive joint naval drills in a simulated wartime environment. Frigates, submarines, and the Air Force are all involved. The Republic of Korea's Admiral Chief of Naval Operations telling CTV News that cooperation in the open ocean means security and prosperity.
Really improving our capability as a military.
CTV News spoke one-on-one with Maritime Forces Pacific Rear Admiral David Pachel about the importance of working with allies in a quickly changing geopolitical landscape.
The more we work together, learning how to communicate, how to operate, understanding the capabilities of each other's navies, so then we build that trust. So when we need to fight together, we're ready to do so.
Celebrating his 98th birthday, his experience fighting alongside Korean soldiers has stayed with retired Major Jerry Ratchford.
United Nations Service Medal for Korea.
You wear them proudly.
Yes, I do.
The Korean War veteran believes a rekindled relationship between the 2 proud nations will serve Canadians well for generations to come.
Today means unification between the 2 countries, and I hope it stays that way.
The current joint naval exercise underscores the importance for the Royal Canadian Navy to have deeper connectivity and cooperation with allied nation navies from these waters into the Indo-Pacific, the Arctic, and Atlantic Oceans. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, CFB Esquimalt.
An advocacy group says the city is not acting fast enough to prevent erosion on Hanlan's Point on the Toronto Islands. Friends of Hanlan's Point says erosion and increasing lack of shoreline space on the beach have been documented for decades as part of the changes affecting the islands. The group says numerous solutions have been proposed, including adding sand to rebuild portions of the shoreline. The beach is Canada's oldest clothing-optional beach and a long-standing gathering place for Toronto's LGBTQ2S+ community. The city tells CTV News parts of the beach are closed as work is carried out related to shoreline conditions and raising lake levels, with the goal of keeping Hanlon's Point healthy and resilient for years to come.
There's a subway disruption to keep in mind on Line 2 this evening. There continues to be no service on Line 2 between Woodbine and Kennedy stations due to planned track work throughout the weekend. Shuttle buses are running instead, with regular service set to resume tomorrow morning at 6. But service will end at midnight along the same stretch this week until Friday to allow for the track work to continue.
Still to come, where's the beef? Why the rising cost of meat could have an impact on this summer's grilling season. Details when we return.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So I know you're a Tragically Hip fan.
I am.
So there's a play called It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken It. It was playing at the Aquarius Theatre in Hamilton. It closed today, so you can't see it right now. Anyway, great show. But when I was driving to Hamilton, I thought, with that fog, I didn't think I was gonna make it to Hamilton, but I did. But yeah, it was crazy out there on the roads today.
It was bad, but the funny thing is, if you look at what's going on behind us, it's actually better than what we were dealing with yesterday. So there is an improvement, and we are trending in the right direction going through the rest of the week. And let's take a look at the forecast right now. As we see the current conditions, it's 14 degrees in the city. Looking across the province, it's largely the same anywhere around Ontario, even if you go all the way up to Moosonee, it's just 16 degrees. So we're pretty close, which is not normal for this time of year. But if we look at the concert forecast tonight for Bruno Mars, which will go ahead. You're going to want to wear a coat, folks, and bring an umbrella. Don't believe me? Just watch.
No umbrella. No umbrella? You just have to wear a coat with a hat because the umbrella will block other people's views.
Oh, that's very thoughtful.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll let you in.
Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, leave the umbrella, folks. But it might rain a little bit, so you might get a little bit wet, but it's going to get a lot better. Now, the lows tonight, we can see it's 13 degrees overnight, a little bit better than the normal average because we're moving in the right direction as we look towards tomorrow. The wake-up weather will be 13 degrees, partly cloudy as you're heading off to work. And it's going up 15 degrees at 9 a.m. And then we look at tomorrow's highs, 23 degrees. We're back, folks. 23 degrees and sunny tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be good, and that's going to be the theme as we look towards the 7-day forecast. Look at all that sunshine. We endured it. Sunny, mid-20s, high 20s on Tuesday. We go back down to the mid-20s and lower 20s through late in the week. But then next weekend is looking to be 20 degrees. Warm, sunny, everything you want for the last weekend of May. Can you believe that's what's coming up?
Wow.
And as we look at the satellite radar right now, you can see it's all around us. We're probably not going to have it hit us right now, but we'll have a little bit more coming up later on in the show. Andrea, to you.
You'll probably want to come back next week and anchor again because the weather's so nice. Well, the high cost of putting meat is on a damper this barbecue season. The soaring price of beef in particular has a lot of people changing their grilling habits.
As CT's Kamal Karamali reports, it could be years before steak lovers see some relief.
It's the sound you hear that marks the start of summer, the sizzle of meat on the barbecue. But this year, Canadians are opting for a cheaper cut, or like Anastasia Jeannot, just less beef overall.
I would say I've reduced my beef intake by about half, if not a little bit more.
And that's because the price of it continues to climb, cutting into this butcher's bottom line.
Beef chuck, which we used to see for closer to maybe $8, $9 per pound. We're having to retail at almost $16 per pound.
In the last 5 years, the price of beef in Canada has soared, going up nearly 65%. In the past year alone, it went up more than 12%, while the increase for chicken or pork has been roughly half that. All because of several dry years that shrank the pastures Canadian cows feed on.
And when that happens, cow herds are reduced. We are at the lowest cow herd we've had in almost 40 years.
It's not just the cost of beef that is hitting Canadians' bottom line, but the price of propane has also increased. The war between U.S. and Iran, half a world away, that's blocking oil shipments, making its way into the kitchen of this Toronto Pakistani restaurant.
The propane is also going high. Every businessman in the restaurant, I don't think that they are making profit.
they are surviving.
For beef, there's hope prices will start coming back down. The cattle shortage now reversing, with Canada recording an increase in the number of cattle for the first time in nearly 8 years. But seeing the changes on your grocery bill could take years.
As we go into 2033, it will start that downtrend in as far as the prices that we receive.
Which means steak lovers like Anastasia Jeannot will keep having to buy cheaper cuts for now. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Good. Dozens pedaled for a good cause this morning at a major fundraiser in Durham. 3, 2, 1, and go! Cyclists took off from Ajax Downs Racetrack for the RBC Ride for the Ridge. It's all to benefit Lake Ridge Health. Riders took part in a number of distances ranging from 10K all the way up to 100 kilometers.
Looking for a great day out here, support local cause, support local community. Born and raised in the area. My mother-in-law is very close to the Lake Ridge Foundation as well, so I don't know if it's going to be a particularly warm day, but we'll try and tough through it.
Bunch of people who think it's a great idea to come out on a Sunday morning in the cold, in the rain, and to ride 100 kilometers up some pretty hilly terrain.
The weather is not ideal, considering it's supposed to be beautiful the rest of the week, but that doesn't matter. We're out here to support Lake Ridge Health and the surrounding hospitals and doing it for a good cause.
Money raised from today's event goes to research and equipment for all of Lake Ridge Health's sites.
And the Sash Bearer Walk was held in the city's West End today to put a spotlight on mental health and suicide prevention. This was the scene as hundreds hit the trail for today's event at Sir Casimir Grozowski Park on the Lakeshore Boulevard. The organization helps raise awareness about borderline personality disorder, and it's not just for people living with the diagnosis, but the families and loved ones who support them. The group tries to help fill the gaps where they say the health system comes up short.
I have BPD myself. This is a very, very important organization, probably the only one that talks about BPD and the stigma surrounding it and about the compassion that is needed. This is also free resources, and so this organization means a lot, and it really makes a difference.
Borderline personality disorder is very difficult to diagnose, so we were given many different diagnoses. We were told this might be the case, this might not be the case, and then just to find the resources. It was literally at a hospital at CAMH where we were handed a pamphlet and said, here you go, navigate for yourself. So thankfully, my wife, my daughter, and this community, a lot of it, Sash Bear especially, really helped point us in the right direction.
This year's edition of the Sash Bear Walk hopes to raise $300,000 Canada-wide.
On any given day, thousands of Canadians are waiting for an organ transplant.
In Saskatchewan, it can take years to connect with a perfect match, and that's why one woman has come up with a unique way to hopefully track down a donor for herself. CTV's Allison Bamford has the story.
Every time she gets into her vehicle, Peggy McCullough never knows if this drive will be the one that leads her to an organ donor.
Any hope is good hope, right?
Her back windshield is an advertisement pleading for people to share their spare kidney. She got the idea from another woman who did the same thing a few years ago and was successful.
And nobody that we knew was a candidate. We figured, you know, what can it hurt? Even if one person says maybe, it's worth getting the information out there.
The 64-year-old has 10% kidney function. She's been waiting for a transplant for over 3 years.
I was transplanted with a heart in 1993, and so I've been on immunosuppressant drugs for 33 years, and they've done some bad things to my kidneys.
Saskatchewan's most recent data shows 82 people in the province waiting for a kidney transplant as of January, up from 59 the year before, with the average wait time for a deceased donor transplant around 27 months. Increasing living donations could help reduce the wait list.
The goal we have in Saskatchewan is 1 to 2 living kidney transplants every month. And through the work of the transplant program and obviously the generosity of living donors, it's actually a reality.
Most organ transplants in this country come from deceased donors.
Often it's kind of on the individual to find a living donor.
which is why you see things like social media campaigns.
McCullough's received a few phone calls from her driving ad, but nothing life-changing yet. If anything, she hopes it pushes a few more to register as donors.
People are waiting for a second chance, and that's what it is. It's a second chance.
And for many, a new lease on life. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Coming up, it was a tough outing for the Blue Jays today, possibly losing more than just the game. We have an injury update after the break. "80 Montreal area children were honored this weekend for their kindness and positive impact on the community.
And they were rewarded for their efforts with brand new bikes as a reminder that acts of kindness can start at a young age. CTV's Anastasia Dextrine reports.
It was a morning of celebration at Michel Normandin Arena, but behind the balloons and bikes, the focus was on something deeper.
I believe that if you are a child and you want to help the community, I would go and do what you can.
13-year-old Luke Gonzalez says he went door to door and recycled cans to raise money for the Terry Fox Foundation. He raised more than $2,000 and helped his school beat its fundraising goal.
My grandmother passed away from cancer, so I wanted to help in a way that I could.
He raised the most amount of money out of the 1,000 kids at his school, being one of the youngest, and he just had his mind set to it.
Gonzalez is one of 80 young people being recognized at Sun Youth's 42nd annual Heroes on Bikes giveaway. The event honors good deeds among those ages 5 to 17. With each name called, a brand new bike and another inspiring story. When Diana Esfandiari heard a nearby child being harmed, she immediately called the police.
A boy was bullying the girl that had cancer. I came and said to the boy, "Why are you doing this?" I wish that the whole entire world has peace.
And a part of promoting that peace can be as simple as showing up. That's why 9-year-old Aurélie Le Tourneau was honored with a bicycle too. At Christmas, I made cards and gifts for seniors, Aurélie says.
À des personnes âgées.
She had the idea because her mom works in a veteran hospital.
Marisol Tremblay is Aurélie's teacher. She nominated Aurélie after seeing how she got her classmates involved.
She went on her own during her Christmas vacation to distribute each and every gift, and she brought back to the kids in the class some pictures to show them how important it is to give to others.
Tremblay says there are many young people doing great things, so they deserve the recognition. And the team at Sun Youth hopes that each bike will be a reminder that acts of kindness can start young. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
The brooms were out this afternoon as the Toronto Blue Jays were trying to sweep the series against Pittsburgh.
Cease to Horwitz, and Spencer Horwitz has tattooed it.
That's not good, Spencer. The former Jay homered on the first pitch of the game, and that set the tone as the Pirates went on to win 4-1, snapping Toronto's 4-game win streak. Perhaps more concerning, Dylan Cease left in the 5th because of a sore left hamstring, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. exited in the bottom half of that inning after being hit on the right elbow by a pitch.
Nice little shooter is Rice. Takes it to the rim. Kiki Rice.
The Toronto Tempo lost 99-80 to the visiting Portland Fire last night in the first ever meeting between the WNBA expansion clubs. Marina Mabry and rookie Kiki Rice each had 19 points for Toronto, which had lost back-to-back games and has slipped to 3-4 on the season. The Tempo are in Chicago on Wednesday. And Toronto FC was also on the losing end of their match last night. The Fire won 2-1 in the Windy City. It was Chicago's 3rd consecutive win. TFC has lost 3 in a row now and is winless in 8 straight. Toronto doesn't play again until July 15th because the MLS will be on a break during the World Cup. Well, Drake's taking over the top of the Billboard Top 200 albums chart, and his albums Iceman, Habibti, and Maid of Honor debuted in the top 3 spots.
I'm doing my big one, you doing a little one. What kind of man are you? A middle one.
This marks the first time that an artist has held the top 3 spots on the Billboard 200 concurrently since it began publishing on a regular weekly basis in March of 1956.
The latest release in the Star Wars film franchise soared to the top of the box office in its debut weekend.
Way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries. I won't always be around.
The Mandalorian and Grogu brought in $102 million from theaters across the U.S. and Canada. That's higher than pre-weekend forecasts. Horror movie Obsession finished in second spot, earning just over $22 million. And woohoo, Michael rounded out the box office in third spot.
Toronto takes brunch very seriously, and we're diving fork first into a must-visit spot that's worth lining up for. In the heart of the Junction, Dirty Food Eatery brings bold, funky brunch energy. Come with me. Let's discover what's on the menu. Eggs Jenny on a buttermilk biscuit with collard greens and their crispy house potatoes, they're next level. And don't skip the sips. The wide array of signature cocktails makes this a brunch party, not just a meal. All right, I'm here with Leslie from Dirty Food Eatery, and wow. We're exploring the city for some incredible spots, and this, I think we've definitely stumbled onto one. Tell me a little bit about the vibe of Dirty Food Eatery and what was kind of the inspiration for opening it up back in 2016?
Yeah, so we've been here almost 10 years now. It's just sort of like a casual brunch spot with a focus on comfort food.
It's such a cool neighborhood and a great concept, and I know there's kind of there's family in here. This is named after your sister Jenny?
Yeah, that's named after my sister Jenny. It's sort of a play on a traditional Eggs Benedict. Instead of the English muffin, it's done on a buttermilk biscuit. They're baked fresh in house every morning. And then we have the female bacon on there, some braised collard greens, and poached eggs and hollandaise made with real butter and eggs. And then we top it with a little bit of tarragon.
All right, here we go. I gotta tell you, Leslie, this is absolutely delicious. Dirty Food Eatery has definitely perfected lazy mid-morning meals. I mean, come hungry, leave obsessed. Let's do brunch. For more information, head to cp24.com.
Welcome back. We often hear about people walking, running, or cycling across the country to raise money for a worthy cause.
Well, right now, a 20-year-old cancer survivor from Moncton is making his way across the country using this. It's them. CTV's Derek Haggett has a story.
I have no clue what I'm doing, but it seems pretty straightforward.
When Quinn Strang's father heard about his son's plan to hitchhike across Canada, he thought he was joking.
I didn't quite frankly believe him. I thought he was just, throwing this out. And the more he talked about it, the more I said, okay, this kid's actually going to do this.
Quinn started his cross-country trek in St. John's on May 17.
Well, I've met some amazing people. I've been lucky enough to have people reach out for drives, so I'm getting a mix of sticking my thumb out and a little bit of people reaching out for drives as well.
But it's not a coming-of-age adventure for the 20-year-old. Quinn is a cancer survivor. He's hitchhiking to raise $100,000 for cancer research in the IWK Health Center in Halifax. The plan? Follow Terry Fox's route and then go all the way to the Pacific. At age 15, Quinn discovered he had stage 4 Ewing sarcoma.
That spread through my lungs and my lymph nodes, and I had about a 15% chance to live, I think. And I trucked through it, I beat it.
But the cancer came back his senior year, and he had a femur transplant after graduation.
It was tough. I had the easy job. I was just there to support him. If I could have taken his pain away every day, I would have.
A short break in his hometown last week before hitting the road again. He knows the risks.
I mean, there's definitely always a concern, just like anything else in life, right? But I haven't had the slightest problem so far.
While they don't condone hitchhiking, the Strangs believe it'll bring attention to the cause.
I'm pretty impressed and honored to have him as a son.
As for how he'll get back home?
Yeah, I figure once I hitch across Canada, I'm going to want to get home pretty quick. So, yeah, I'm just going to wait in the airport till I get the first flight back to Moncton.
The hope to be back to his pets and his father by mid-June. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Wish him all the best, and hopefully he has better weather than we have here.
You can see the fog just going through the buildings right now. It's kind of nice, but it's going to be better tomorrow. So let's take a look at the forecast as we can see what's happening currently right now. 14 degrees in the region, 13 in Barrie, but we want to look forward to your wake-up forecast tomorrow. Look at that. Around noon, it's going to be 19. 3 o'clock, it's going to be 22. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow, and it's going to be a nice week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all sunshine in the 20s, exactly what you want. And let's talk about that weekend coming up. Andrea.
Thank you, Sean. Well, be sure to join us tonight at 11. It's CTV National News with Heather Butts, followed by our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all the hardworking people in front of and behind the camera, thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'm Andrea Case.
I'm Sean Lee Thong.
Good night.
Night.